Welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour Ether Drift. It is Top 8 Sunday. We have had some excellent matchups here so far in our quarterfinals. 2 have been decided. We've still got 2 to go. Corey Baumeister alongside Ailey Loney here to bring you the rest of these quarterfinals. And it's been an excellent, excellent time here so far, Corey.
Yeah.
Any big surprises for you thus far?
I mean, I'm still just kind of shocked that, you know, we have our other side of the top 4 already in place. It's 2 domain decks, and we have a chance to have 3 out of 4 B domains.
I know, right?
That's the biggest shocker to me so far. But this domain deck has the trickiest time. The trickiest time in this next match.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yes.
Before we get there, though, let's take a quick look at our bracket if you're just joining us to show you where we have been and where we're off to next. So Matt Nass, 3-1 over Ian Robb on Mono Red Aggro. So there's our first domain overlord. And second, we saw Kenta Hirane fall to James Dimitrov, also on domain overlord. So those 2 gentlemen are in our semifinals. We now need to find an opponent for one Matt Nass. Who do you think he wants to face?
You know, I think Matt very much wants to play a domain mirror. You know, that's usually not something you want to play basically ever. You know, you want to play your good matchups, but Rule being domain's kind of trickiest matchup, already difficult, but Lucas is playing the Leyline version, which, you know, I feel like every single Pro Tour, every Spotlight event that we have been casting together, everyone's like, no, Leyline, this deck's not played anymore, it's not good. And it's always in the top 8. It's always making it to the finals. It won Spotlight. JED, you know, went deep with it at Worlds. So, I don't know. I think Leyline is still good.
I think so, too. This deck is sweet. Lucas
really
Duchow
sweet.
is certainly a master of it. We've seen some excellent plays from him. His opponent, Christopher Leonard, on Domain Overlords, which we just saw in action. A couple minor differences here and there. You know, we see the Lumbering World Wagon, but for the most part, it's the same game plan.
Yeah, pretty much the same game plan as we saw from Matt Nass and Ian earlier today. That same kind of dynamic. You know, it's going to be the domain decks trying to stop the hyper-aggressive start, but there are draws where Lucas can win on turn 2 when on the other side there's just going to be a tap land from Christopher, you know? So I would think this matchup is heavily favored in favor of old Duke 1-2 on Magic Online.
Oh, let's go! Vroom, vroom. Start your engines, friends. Leyline on the board, and Ministry Swift Spear getting in for 1.
Now, I don't know if Swift Spear is the creature that can allow you to win on turn 2, but
you need the Cacophony Scamp.
I would think so.
Yeah, you need the Cacophony Scamp, 2 pump spells for it, sacrifice it, then boom, boom, you dead.
Yep, absolutely. So if anything, there was just a draw 2 here.
Gives trample, doesn't give the +1. But it does give the, well, it does give the plus from the prowess, but not the extra, as it is not a mouse, or he doesn't control one.
Just 9.
Just 9. No biggie, turn 2, half your life's gone.
Yeah, if you were planning on getting a sandwich or something during this match, I would hang around for a while. I think this could be a real quick one.
It could be a quick one indeed. Shadowy Backstreet now for Christopher. I admire your choice in lands, sir. Very good, very good.
Yep, they're beautiful. And now the only piece of interaction that Christopher can have, and Lucas is going to know this, is Elspeth's Smite here. So, you know, Lucas either will play a bunch of pump spells early, I guess not. Must not have the best hand.
Overlord, Overlord. There's the Smites. Okay. So before, this is after damage, right?
I believe this is after damage, which is very smart here. Lucas's hand is 3-land Monstrous Rage, so this was really smart timing from Christopher.
Yeah.
As you kind of waste your Monstrous Rage here, but Lucas is just saying, hey, I'm going to wait to top deck a Hasty Threat and hope that's enough, but...
3 Overlords in hand, that's rough. I mean, it's cool rampant stuff, but you might be dead before then. You're at 9, Chris. You need an answer here, bud.
Well, I mean, Lucas needs a threat right now.
He does, yes.
Wow, I mean, these are the exact kind of games that Christopher can win on the draw, is where Lucas completely stumbles. Yeah, Biza's great. And I don't remember that being one of the lands I saw in his hand, too, so I think he top decked that Verge, which is just even more insult to injury.
Island for turn here from Christopher.
I think Christopher can pretty safely cast a green Overlord.
Sure, yeah.
Just hard cast one. If you have a piece of interaction like a Leyline Binding or something, you just don't put yourself in a risk and you just go Biza, hold up 1. But If you don't, yeah, get this going.
Yeah.
And now you can curve green Overlord into the white Overlord for next turn.
Because it's a decent-sized blocker, you know. Okay, there's a Cacophony Scamp.
Okay.
We know about the one pump spell in hand.
And I think one is enough here. Maybe not. I guess you... Yeah, I mean, when it dies, it still deals the damage. So if you get a Monstrous Rage on it, it's going to be +5, so 6. It'll trample over for 1 and then deals 6. So that's only 7 with what we have right now. So yeah, Lucas will need something more besides just Monstrous Rage and for this creature to live.
Yeah.
But all that being said, Christopher's just got all creatures in hand.
Yeah.
And no interaction.
Oh my. Okay, Overlord of the Mistmoors. This is not looking great here for any Gruul fans.
Yeah.
Just so many ways to either gain life or just put big butts on the board.
But the Cacophony Scamp is the scariest card to have. You know, like, Christopher can easily be thinking, well, all you needed was one creature and you had a bunch of pump spells here.
13.
So I bet Christopher doesn't even attack here and just tries to be as defensive as possible.
Yeah, this or the Heartfire Hero, you know, pump it a couple times. And if you can't attack through, then just pick it up with Burn Together.
Yeah.
Callous Sellsword. Lucas is playing one copy of those.
Yeah, the fling style of effect. So Lucas, on the flip side here, will know, like, hey, if you have a Leyline Binding, whatever, you're going to win, you know? Like, so this is going to be the kind of spot where Lucas can get a lot of cards out of his brain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to play around this. You would win on the spot. So what can you have? And it would probably come down to, I can't beat anything, so I just have to go all in.
Yeah.
Because the longer Lucas waits, the worse it gets for him.
Absolutely. Mid-game, late game, this is not where you want to be as the Gruul Leyline player.
Yep.
But if the top of the deck doesn't play nice, there's not much you can do about it. You know, as well, this deck isn't playing, you know, the card draw engines that we've seen from other Gruul lists either.
Yep. And Christopher just drew Rides End, which should pretty much lock this up. And I got to say, Lucas has some perfect symmetry here. This is his second Pro Tour top 8. One first in OTJ where he played Esper, now playing Gruul. So that's full range right there.
Perfectly balanced.
Yep.
As all things should be. Avatar named on the Cavern. 2 avatars in hand for Christopher.
So it seems pretty safe for Christopher to attack here, play another green Overlord, leave up 2 mana, have Rides End. And
this guy's also coming off of Impending, so.
Yeah, and you got another Overlord, so I think that's what I would do. Just make sure you have your 2 mana left over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. Lucas didn't find the other half of the hand that he needed to wrap this game up.
Yeah, and
as quick as he wanted.
I'm sure Lucas kept, you know, the Leyline, Might of the Meek, a creature, probably the turn inside out as well, and then just, you know, drew land, and
yeah. That you know, that is the rough side of decks like this one. You know, when you're all in on, okay, I'm going to put as many eggs in one basket as I possibly can, pump up this one creature, get you dead. But if you don't have a creature, that all falls to pieces.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, you know, we've seen all the other Gruul decks that play much more, you know, they can play into the long game a lot better.
Yeah.
This version is very much our traditional aggro decks we've seen of the past. Like, you're all in. You need to go for it.
Yeah. So monstrous, 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 monstrous.
4 monstrous here, so that's +8. So this is a 10 power creature, but none of this really matters as there's this Rides End. So I guess one thing that could happen is if Christopher goes for Rides End here and Lucas has a Snakeskin Veil or an Overprotect or something, that you can win. But if Lucas's only other pump spell is an Overprotect, then it's all about, okay, who blinks first? And whoever blinks first usually loses, so.
So I think it's just, just Snakeskin Veil to worry about.
Okay, yeah, no Overprotect in this list.
Yeah.
And just Snakeskin Veil would put this, what, to 12 power? And there's 10, 15. I don't even think a Snakeskin Veil would do it.
Because, the first Monstrous Rage, you can only have 1 roll on it.
Exactly.
So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So it's a 10 power Trampler right now.
5/5. Trigger, you take time.
Jesus.
Okay.
You're at 3.
Yeah, imagine if you had 1 more spell.
Yeah, and no burn spells from Lucas, so Not able to do too much. Lucas helping him out.
You have so much land there. Let me help you out, bud.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice play by Christopher, not firing off the ride's end there,
Yeah.
like recognizing I'm not dead to this. You don't have burn spells for reach, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the first to blink and fall into a Snakeskin Veil plus another pump spell trap type thing.
Nice. Christopher's at 3. Here comes an Overlord of the Mistmoors, along with his insect friends. That is a lot
Yep.
of power and toughness added to the board, and Lucas now down to 4.
Okay.
But I think he's out of gas at this point. He agrees, scoops him up. We're going to go to game number 2 here.
I mean, that was gigantic. Lucas on
Yeah.
the play in these pre-boarded games, so, I mean,
Those are the games you need to win.
Christopher needed to win something like that to give himself a shot here in this matchup, so.
All right, game 2. It's basically just a shuffle and play, as no sideboarding yet until game 3. Best 3 out of 5 if you're just joining us. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get things underway.
All right, I saw Swift Spear and a Slick Shot show off at least. No ley line to start going really crazy to begin. And a start of a plains usually signifies, all right, I need to not walk into an Elspeth Smite, so we might see a plotted Slick Shot show off here.
I think we might.
And Lucas correctly plotting. If we do plot, you know, you always plot second main phase to leave any possible spells available.
Cacophony Scamp joins the Swift Spear. Avatar named on the Cavern of Souls.
Not the ideal start for mana bases here. And wow, we might not have another land. I was going to say Cavern of Souls is almost always your last land you play. So
Yeah.
that's something I would be internalizing if I'm playing against this deck. I'd be like, you probably do not have another land.
16. After damage, I'm gonna have something to do. Sure.
This is the post-combat smite again.
Looks like it, yeah.
This guy? Yep.
Rides End instead.
Okay.
There goes the Scamp.
Plot.
So no possibility at end step to sacrifice that.
Yep, and the main reason to do that is just always playing around Snakeskin Veil. You end up dealing yourself much more damage by playing it before damage. Now, of course, there is a cost. If that Snakeskin Veil wasn't there, Christopher's taking unnecessary damage.
Yeah.
That damage can add up, you know, so it's not free, the decisions Christopher's making, but I do think they are the correct ones this early in the game.
Land 3. Turn passes back now. Not a fast start from either player here.
Yeah, I want to say that's an alternate art get lost at least, so he has some interaction here.
Yeah, that is a get lost.
15.
But otherwise, yeah, Christopher's mana base is not great.
Get lost. 2 map tokens. Should come along with that.
Okay, I think Christopher still needs a land here to be able to do anything. That's another smite. Yep, there we are.
No land, no double green for the Overlord that's sitting in hand.
I think that is another get lost there in the far left side of his hand. So I think we have get lost and smite.
Yeah.
3.
Smite would be the...
Okay, this opens the door for a Slick Shot show-off turn, though.
Take 1.
Okay.
Yep. 3 maps now.
Look at all these maps.
Yep. Okay, I mean, this could mean big business here for the show-off.
Swift Spear explores. Let's see what's on top. That's a ley line.
Just where you wanted on
Yeah.
turn 5.
Hey, you're a little late to the party, friend.
12.
Okay. Leaving the show-off back here. Doesn't want to expose it to a possible top-decked white source Day of Judgment. Which is exactly what happened, I believe.
No final land.
Yeah, I think-
Yeah, that's another plains.
Yeah, I don't think we have the Day, but
1.
still has an Overlord to impend here.
Yeah. Overlord of the Mistmoors at least puts some stuff in the way.
Done after that.
I think that was a Might of the Meek, as well as a land. So I think Lucas now has 6 lands
Good grief.
and 1 pump spell here.
That's too many lands, man.
Lucas getting flooded at the worst possible time. All right, that is pretty strong. Probably going to leave that one.
Yeah. Yep, that'll stay on top of the library.
And
Turn
here
inside
we
out.
go.
Because we can get to that this turn, right? If you said there's a Might of the Meek in hand.
Yep, definitely. So we can get to that plus the turn inside out on top.
Yeah. So in with both critters.
Now the Might of the Meek doesn't actually pump
No.
since it's not, we don't control a mouse, but it does still essentially represent +3 with Slick Shot Show Off.
Yeah. Neither of these spells give... No, the Might of the Meek gives trample. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So there's that. Draw the card. We know what it is on top for Christopher.
Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So that tramples for 6. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
3, 4, 5 here.
I want to say 11.
3, 5, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4,
12, 13. And then -2 from the blockers. 11.
Yeah, I want to say this is taking 11. And then you get to manifest.
Spells,
Yeah.
2 spells is 5. And then this is 8.
Yeah, so
Here.
8 tramples for
7,
6.
6, and 5. So you go to 1.
Yeah.
This dies and I manifest.
No
Okay.
big deal. Ouch.
We have a saying that, 1 is not 0.
It certainly ain't.
But I think that might have been the best possible thing to put underneath that. I want to say that is a cacophony scamp, and if you can manifest that up in response to a Day of Judgment, you'll just be able to deal damage. But Christopher should be at 1, correct?
Oh, I thought so. He didn't do anything to gain life, did he?
Yeah.
Avatar again.
Not positive on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Is our math checked out to their math?
Yeah, yeah.
Should be at 1.
Maybe they had the life totals wrong on the screen to start with, and that could have pulled us off, but...
Yep.
I mean, their life pads say 1 right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we should all assume Christopher is indeed at 1.
Yeah.
How many cards? 3, 4? Yeah.
And it looks like there is Elspeth Smite and Leyline Binding. Okay. So as it stands, I am pretty sure that Christopher has this covered, and that is not enough. That doesn't actually do anything. So I think the way this is going to play out, we're going to get the trigger. Leyline Binding on the Monastery Swift Spirit. You have the Smite on the Manifest Cacophony Scamp, and Christopher is going to stabilize here at 1. And if we draw a Zur, then we're just done.
Yeah. There's the binding, gets the Swift Spear. Elspeth Smite takes care of the Manifest creature.
Wow.
Jeez.
Just a terrible draw from Lucas. Lucas just really needed
Oh, boy.
anything here.
Yeah, the top of the deck hasn't been kind to Lucas Duchow.
Yeah. And yeah, okay, so that's an Analyze Pollen.
Yeah.
You can analyze right now to go get Zur, play Zur.
So yeah, there's certainly enough in there to analyze
Oh
for 8.
man, this has got to be Christopher advancing to a 2-0 start here in what seems like a really bad matchup.
Yeah, I think Lucas's draw was just so unlucky. You know, just giving too much time. The longer these games go, the more it favors the domain decks because they just have so much more to work with.
Yeah, and just Lucas flooded a lot
Yeah.
in the early game, and this is an early game deck. And, drew his ley lines on turn 4 and 3 instead of having them in the opening hand. So Lucas's deck is more high variance than the other Gruul decks, where when it looks good, it looks unbelievable.
And when it looks bad, it looks
But wait a minute, did we just go to end
Stop,
step and then pending
play it?
those? I guess, are they both on Avatar? They're not on Human?
Oh, do we not have
Your turn.
green?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we don't have green because
Or we don't have black for Zur.
Oh, right, sorry, black.
Okay, I thought one of those was on Human, but
That would make sense.
now Zur gets to come down with the Everywhere Land and then animate one of these creatures. And I think that was a Leyline Binding as well to really fully clean it up. And this is the one change that Matt Nass did not play, is the caverns, because he just said they lead to some awkwardness. And, I mean, here was the awkwardness for sure. So I do like that choice.
Well, Christopher does have the, well, did have the ways to just, you know, fend off any damage. So, again, I'm not sure where the extra 2 life came from, unless our math was absolutely horrible. But I think that's going to be enough for Lucas. Nothing you can do against that much life gain.
Wow.
And that much board presence. So, yeah, 2-0 so far for Christopher Leonard. Let's go to game 3.
Yeah, going to be a uphill battle here from Lucas, but, you know, if anybody can get the reverse sweep here, it's going to be the Gruul deck here. You know, Lucas did mulligan both the first 2 games, and now is Christopher's turn to take a mulligan. And then looking for some sideboarding here from Christopher, we brought in 3 Balos, a Get Lost, 2 Authorities, and a Sunfall, so a bunch of great stuff here against the aggro decks. Took out the one of Atraxa, the lumbering work wagon.
World wagon, yeah.
Or world wagon, excuse me. Yeah, that one makes sense. And then took out the Up the Beanstalks. Just end up being too slow here. And Lucas brought in some Questing Druids to go longer, Manifold Mouse, and then actually took out a couple Ley Lines and 4 Swift Spears, which is kind of surprising. The Ley Line specifically, maybe not necessarily the Swift Spear, but...
All right. Things are underway here with our Slick Shot Show-Off ×2. Getting in for some damage. Anything pre... Nope.
Yeah, always tough when you only have 1 mana to target anything, you know, as you just respond with a removal spell. And Christopher has played this very well, where has never tried to kill things in combat, has always went to take damage and then end step do it to mitigate the power of these pump spells.
Pretty heads-up play from him.
Yep, definitely.
Saves himself some life points, and Overlord of the Hauntwoods hits the battlefield.
Theoretically, it could be costing Christopher life points,
yeah, it could
but
be.
The worst case scenario he's playing around, and I still think that makes it a correct play.
Yeah. Yeah, Snakeskin Veil, getting blown up by that is never fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the lesser of 2 evils if you want to look at it like that.
Yep. And I mean, if Christopher was at a lower life total, then, you know, you for sure don't take any risks, but...
Oh, hey.
Another show off.
Hits the bin. Lucas isn't interested in developing a 3rd one on the battlefield here next turn, so just gonna keep exploring. Finds an Emberheart Challenger. I don't think we've seen one of these this game.
Yeah,
this match.
Not really. This once again kind of signals to me that Lucas doesn't have just a ton of pump spells. But now this math on the table would signify the exact opposite. Probably has a ton of pump spells. So if you have 2 +3s, Monstrous Rage, yeah, that would be, they're each +5.
Yeah.
So that would be 13 that you could present pretty fair and safely, but I would think if you only have 2 pump spells, you want to maybe just play 1 and then save the other one for the Emberheart Challenger to get that value.
Yeah. Now, in the sideboard, there are the Questing Druids available for Lucas. You know, not playing the main deck as some other Gruul lists do, so being able to exile cards off the top of the library and refilling your hand in that way is it's pretty much the only way to fight against this domain deck.
Yep, very true. Playing the Manifold Mouse represents a nice turn next turn of being able to play that Challenger, target it, give it double strike, and then any pump spell is, you know, instead of +3 or +5, you know, doubling that. Ends up being very strong. That being said, Christopher will now have mana available, and I see at least 1 Leyline Binding. I think just Leyline Binding and 2 lands, so.
Yeah.
Not amazing. Christopher did mulligan to 5, though, as well this game.
Just passes the turn back. Counter comes off of the Overlord. And the Emberheart Challenger gets drawn, so I guess we just jam and see what happens, huh?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Christopher wants to proactively deal with the Manifold Mouse. You know, if you're kind of like, yeah, if you have the Snakeskin Veil, I'm just dead, maybe the best play is to try to just deal with the mouse that's going to target the Challenger over and over. And here is the stop from Christopher, thinking about exactly that.
How many cards do you have? 2 or 3? 3.
And I got a quick glance. I want to say it's land snakeskin from Lucas, but I didn't get a perfect view of it.
I think you might be right.
And that'd be pretty good,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yep. Trigger doubles. Trigger here. Behind it.
Oh, nice.
Huge.
That's great. Trample and +1 because there's 2 mice on the board.
Yep.
Off we go.
No blocks.
Lucas is mething.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you still get +1/+0 if you have 2? If you have mice on the battlefield? There's not just a mouse, so you know,
Gory.
we'll have to get a judge over here to double check that.
Magic is very specific in its wording. They'll never say mice. It's mouse creatures.
Okay, fair.
So good morning, second chance Leonard. My name is David.
So this is just Lucas saying how much do I want to put in one basket here? Do you want to kind of go all in? And this is saying exactly that Lucas wants to diversify his threats as much as possible,
Yeah.
and just wants to draw the card. Like if Christopher is already after Manifold Mouse did the damage of giving something double strike, you want to deal with that Manifold Mouse? Great, thumbs up, you know?
Priority now with Christopher if he wants to respond to Might of the Meek on the stack.
And with Christopher's only 1 removal spell, if you end up leyline binding the Manifold Mouse at this spot when you could have done it pre-combat, you're like, well, you know, something went wrong here.
Emberheart Challenger is the target.
Yep, and really like that now. Once we've already gone past this spot,
Yeah.
I think you have to do this. And if it's Snakeskin Veil time, I think you just go for it.
Yeah. That's it. Snakeskin Veil.
And that should just be lethal.
Counter, +1/+1, yeah. 2 spells cost. The Slick Shot Show-Off is ginormous at that point.
Yeah, Slick
And
Shot's
it was on double
huge,
strike, right?
And it was on double strike, so yeah, I mean, that was roughly 16, 17
Yeah.
damage or so.
Much damage. Such ow.
Yeah, many ows.
Game 4. Let's go. Let's see if we can get 5-game series out of these players as well. Christopher Leonard up on top on Domain Overlords, leading 2-1. Lucas picking up his first win here in this quarterfinals.
Yeah, and that was the mulligan to 5, but also just a solid hand from Lucas.
Yeah.
No 1-drop here is less than ideal, but at least has lands and spells.
Choose Avatar.
Uh-oh, remember what I was saying when Cavern comes down, it's probably your last land? It's probably the same here. I haven't seen Christopher's hand yet, but yep, that's the only land.
Oh, goody.
Well, maybe that's a land there.
Oh, maybe
The
middle
second
one's
from
an
the right.
archive or something.
Yeah.
Keeping up 2 mana for rides and I guess.
Okay.
In case of hasty threat, who knows? What do we got there? It looks like a board wipe, Dev Judgment. So Avatar hits the board. Oh, you know, he had the Lush Portico in hand
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
It's got them fancy lands.
Gotta love them. They are beautiful. So now being able to have Seek the Beast to get some value here. And
Ooh, hello.
wouldn't be too shocked if we just see
Jam,
a
jam.
played Slick Shot Show-Off and a Monstrous Rage. Your hand is kind of forced here.
Yeah. 2 goodies, you gotta go for it, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of damage.
7?
14.
Yeah, good old 7 damage there, it looks like.
Yep. Go ahead.
Or yeah, 6. +3 from the Rage, 3
Oh, yeah.
from the Slick Shot
Slick Shot
itself.
itself,
So,
yes.
yep, down to 14. Ooh, there is a Zur there. Doesn't look like land 5 yet.
Oh, there
Never
it is.
mind. Okay,
But
so it's on
everywhere?
Avatar.
Blue.
I think we can still do the Zur Overlord
Yeah.
trick. The thing is, this is great against traditional Gruul to do this on turn 5
Yeah.
or against Mono Red. But with a Slick Shot already in play, there is a solid chance that Lucas could still win the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. If we
Like
have
on
enough-
this turn.
If we
yeah.
have enough combat tricks. Ooh, what was that? Was that a scamp?
Coffiny Scamp. Okay, there's
Scamp,
a
we got
couple
Might of the
Meeks.
2 of the Meeks, yeah.
Okay, looks like I count 3 spells right now.
So that's an extra 6 just without anything else.
Yep, 6, 9. Looks like +9 to me with the spells.
Cards. 6.
10, so just 11 here not amazing. You can start with the Might of the Meek to draw some cards.
Four.
Dude, they have judgments in hand.
Yep.
I'll block.
Lucas really wanted to block there. I don't love that block, as now your best plan of life-linking overlords is over, and now Lucas gets to just not care about the overlords.
Yeah.
And can start progressing his battlefield a bit. I bet Lucas was hyped for that block.
Oh, yeah. You may have been more so hyped, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure he was happy to see that. It's the first Druid hits the board.
Lucas was better at hiding it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I mean, at this point, you just got to think that Christopher's going to blow things up. You know, maybe you get one attack in and then bye-bye.
Yeah.
Ooh, Authority of Consuls.
An attack, Day of Judgment, and play an Authority looks great. You know,
Yeah.
that is solid, but... and it's easy to say from us, like, yeah, that block, you know, maybe wasn't ideal here, but Lucas could have won the game with a couple Monstrous Rage and stuff like that. So the block totally makes sense.
Exploding Mice deals 1 damage to Christopher. He follows up an Authority of Consuls, so any creatures entering now are going to be tapped and giving life to Christopher.
No hasty threats here. Ooh, okay. What is
Manifold Mouse.
Couple mice.
Kicked. Game 2, they are tapped.
Technically tapped, yep. A little irrelevant, but it is
Cards.
technically supposed to be tapped, I agree.
Thank you.
There we
judges.
go. Those mice are not blocking Zur animating that Authority of the Council on our watch.
Yeah. It's one of the least likely things you'd expect to see animated, but hey, sometimes you just need a 1/1 to
Hey,
get
that's the
job done.
only way that it could come up with those being untapped matter.
And another Day of Judgment now. 2 board wipes down for Christopher. He is playing Pillow Fort.
Yep. Okay, looks like now we're just going to put our 2 threats back out. More than likely, Cacophony Scamp and a Heartfire Hero.
Okay.
Okay. Draw a card first.
Monstrous Rage. Do we have a Burn Together in hand? Is that what we're digging for here for Lucas? Because no, okay. I was gonna say, if he keeps like chucking things onto that mouse and then sacking it,
Yeah.
it's like double damage with the
Exactly.
abilities.
Yep, doesn't look like it's there yet, but here's a Baylot to do some life gain. Now I want to say it's Monstrous Rage and actually another spell. So Lucas, you know, kind of for the first time in this set of matches, actually has spells in hand instead of just all lands. But as I say that, I think he drew a land.
Commentator's Curse.
But now the math comes in. You know, even just, I believe we had, not Might of the Meek, but the Turn Inside Out. So even Turn Inside Out on one of these creatures, whatever gets blocked by Obstinate Baloth, you know, you do still get to deal the damage, and you get the manifest out of it. So no matter what, that's pretty good.
What's the bigger threat here? Mouse, right?
Probably mouse, but you want to make sure that if you block the Heartfire Hero, it would still die to something, or it would still die even if you have like a Monstrous Rage, which it looks like it would. It would get to 4 toughness with the Valiant, so this maybe is a little safer.
There's Turn Inside Out for the Scamp. So that'll clear out the Obstinate Baloth.
Cards now. Yeah.
Anything else?
Just 1 Monstrous Rage.
Elspeth Smite in response, so no extra creature there off the Scamp.
Yep.
Yeah, take 2/24.
And it gets exiled as well.
Yep, and here is Emberheart Challenger. And just that Monstrous Rage. So Lucas is basically all in, but Christopher is hellbent, so huge draw step here. One good one like, you know, big white overlord or something, and Christopher is going to be pushing very far ahead.
Lucas is at 6, which is
Okay.
quite painful indeed. This Baloth is a 4/4. I don't know if we can do 25 damage in one fell swoop here, especially not if we're drawing a land.
Probably not, and that's another land, so really wants to flip over like a Seek the Beast.
Leyline, you're supposed to be in the opening hand, man.
Exactly, so at least gets to play this.
Yeah.
Triggers Prowess. You get in a big hit, but I mean, this with Chris already at 25, you know.
Yeah.
A hit for 9 here is still just okay.
6 plus 1 more prowess for 7. Thank you. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, 9 damage there. And another land. If Chris bricks again, Lucas has a chance, but
Yep.
otherwise, you know, if the mouse deck has to start being on defense, things aren't going well.
Absolutely not. Lucas down to 2.
Okay, big draw step for Lucas to keep him in the Pro Tour.
Can he find it?
Ooh, I want to say that was just a creature.
Anything that targets. Anything that pumps. A spell would be great with a ley line down. Oh, no.
Yep, has to leave a creature back.
Yeah, has to block.
Chump blocker, so 1 leyline binding, something like that, and we're all done. That's a
That's
Zur,
Zur.
I think. I mean, Zur is less than exciting right now, but we actually might see this Authority of the Council get fired up.
We might.
Because the block is forced.
Funnier things have happened. Yeah.
No, I mean, you definitely do it here because the block is forced on the Baloth.
Yeah.
And the Authority will then be a lethal threat. Love it. And then Lucas has to beat 2 lethal attackers coming in, the Authority of the Council being a 1/1, and the Zur. One of them is very tough to beat.
Yeah.
So this is actually a great draw.
Sarah's here. He's on the board. He's going to animate the Authority of Consoles.
Yes.
I've seen it all. All right, get out your bingo cards. Take that off.
You got to respect the Authority.
Respect my authority.
There you go.
Oh, Hardfire Hero goes down. Gets in for 1 point of damage up top.
All right, it's got to be like Seek the Beast into a bunch of spells. How about a
It's
land?
a land, so that is going to be Christopher Leonard picking up the 3rd win there against Lucas Duchow. Congratulations to Christopher, advancing to our semifinals, Corey.
Impressive,
Sweet.
and I believe there's 1 domain player.
Oh yeah, there's another.
There's another
player.
domain player.
Yeah.
And I believe we now have a 3rd domain player into the top 4 with 3 in the top 8. I mean, that's just a dominant performance by this deck.
Absolutely.
And now I guess maybe everyone's going for the only non-domain now that we're going to be watching here in a second.
Oh boy. Well, congratulations to the domain players. They are certainly making it look difficult to beat you.
Yeah,
But, we
deck
do.
looks great.
Yeah, it looks so cool. So much fun. I believe we do have an interview for you with our winner. So let's head on down there to see what Christopher Leonard has to say.
I'm here with Chris Leonard on the tournament floor, winner of his quarterfinal here. Chris, heading into this matchup, Domain against a very aggressive deck. Were you expecting to take this one out?
No, really, I wasn't expecting to go so well. When I won the first 2 without sideboard, I was like less nervous, and yeah, managed to take this one.
The sideboard obviously does make a big difference in a matchup like this, but now that you've got this aggressive deck out of the way, what are you hoping for as we head into the semis? Maybe a Domain mirror, potentially?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna rematch Matt, and hope it goes my way this time.
Do you think it's a little bit different in the top 8 given the matches are untimed? That takes a little bit of pressure off in terms of playing Domain to its full capability.
Yeah, sure. Playing fast gives room to mistakes, and I don't think we both played at as the best of our capabilities, and yeah, untimed match will be great for both of us.
It'll be a really interesting test of skill between the two of you. Chris, congratulations on the win. Best of luck in the semi-finals.
Thank you.
Coming up next, our final quarterfinal, Yu Chen Liu versus Zevon Faust.